Today, I'll show you how to troubleshoot the ELRS loading issue, recover what looks like a brick device, and update the firmware and SD card content the correct way so everything works together properly. Before we go any further, it's worth quickly explaining the difference between EdgeTX and ExpressLRS, because these are the two components that could be faulty. Think of EdgeTX like the operating system of the radio. It's the software that runs the screen, menus, etc. Basically everything that you interact with directly on the transmitter. Now, ExpressLRS is different. That's the radio link between your transmitter and your receiver on the drone or plane. Its job is handling the transmission protocol between your physical actions on the transmitter and these actions being received on the other end. You can think of EdgeTX as the computer and ExpressLRS as the Wi-Fi connection module. Now, let's jump into the first issue, the ELRS module stuck on the loading screen. I'm going to go through 3 steps to help verify what might be going wrong. Firstly, check that the internal module is enabled. This should show a status of either 250 or 500 Hz, depending on which EdgeTX version you're running. Secondly, check the baud rate of the internal module. While you're here, ensure the USB VCP mode is set to CLI. And lastly, verify that the ELRS module is actually detected. Now I'm going to show you a working and broken radio with the previous steps enabled. Firstly, we're checking the internal module is enabled and we can see a status of 500 Hz. Now we're going to check the baud rates of the internal module. And while we're here, we're going to ensure that USB VCP mode is set to CLI. Lastly, we're going to verify if the ELRS module is actually detected. We can verify this by going into the About page under System and verify if there's an internal module version seen. Now we're just going to simply run the final step, and that's to run the ELRS Lua script. And you can see this one is actually working perfectly fine as it starts up and doesn't get stuck on the loading screen. Now I'm going to show you the broken one, the one that almost broke me as well. So we're going to do the same steps as we did before. We're going to check the internal module, ensure it's enabled, and we can see a status. We're then going to check the baud rate and ensure that the USB VCP mode is set to CLI appropriately. And now we'll finally verify if the ELRS module is actually properly turning on, and you'll see that this one is actually getting a null value. The next steps are to update the EdgeTX version and to ensure the SD card content matches. Then we'll try to update the ELRS module using passthrough mode. You can follow these steps coming up in the video. Now that we have identified the issue with the broken radio, having a faulty ELRS receiver, either through various reasons, we're going to attempt to update the firmware directly via passthrough mode, since we're unable to enable Wi-Fi mode because that is what you can get behind the Lua script completing. Right now I'm showing you the ExpressLRS web flasher. The link's in the description. What's important to note is that this needs to be opened up in a Chromium web-based browser. The other thing to note is that I'm on Mac, and that means that it supports serial ports directly. On Windows, you may have to download the drivers, and I'll put a link in the description, that will allow your radio to be properly detected. I've quickly skipped over some of the settings that I've used, just because it will be dependent on your location. Now, if all goes well, this will say that it's connected and flashed. However, unfortunately for me, it's never that easy. For whatever reason, I could not get pass-through mode working. Now, I contacted the manufacturer and they gave me some recommended steps. However, they still could not get me up and running through pass-through mode. So I actually had to get a new one, and I'm going to be sending this one back on warranty. The other aspect to the web flasher is the actual local client. So we can actually do the same steps that we did before, but through a direct client that's installed on the operating system. I've I've installed the configurator directly and I'm going to repeat the same process, but once again I'm going to show that the error messages get returned and no other aspects are changed. Now I'm going to show you how to fix a bricked device. You can usually tell a device is bricked if it shows no signs of powering on when the power button is pressed. Obviously. To enter DFU mode, remove the battery, plug in a USB cable, and hold the system button for 5 seconds. Here you can see me forgetting to remove the battery first, which prevents DFU mode from it being entered. If you've made it this far, feel free to consider liking or subscribing. Thank you. You can tell you've made it into DFU mode when the power button starts to flash. Now let's jump over to the EdgeTX companion client. I'll add a link in the description. Once again, if you're on Windows, you may need to install additional drivers, so your serial port is properly recognized. Before flashing the brick device, we need to actually download the appropriate build. Head over to the EdgeTX buddy and download the correct version. Here I just downloaded the latest one. Then just go back into the configurator, select the build that you just downloaded, and finally select Write to TX. If you see any error saying it can't recognize the device, simply uncheck the hardware and profile compatibility checks before running the flash. That's it. Reinsert the battery into the device and it should power back on, hopefully. Okay, the next part is showing how to update EdgeTX and the SD card content while in bootloader mode. If you've already completed the previous 2 parts, you probably won't need to do this. However, if you're still having issues, this could help. To enter bootloader mode, hold the left and right aileron trims inward while powering on the device. You'll know you're in bootloader mode when the screen clearly displays bootloader mode. Next, plug in the USB-C cable. Now before I go any further, the reason why I'm not updating EdgeTX through the web flasher is because it quietly recommends not using it for this process. Let me know in the comments if this worked for you. Personally, it did for me. For the H7 chips, the recommended upgrade process is either through the DFU mode, which I showed earlier, or bootloader mode, which I'm showing now. You can also see some of the differences mentioned in the release candidates for 2.12. Interestingly, both of my devices actually shipped with EdgeTX version 3, but it looks like they may be rolling back some of those changes back for whatever reason. You can still download version 3 from the latest branch if that's what you want to do. To update the firmware in bootloader mode, all we simply have to do is drag and drop the firmware file that you already downloaded before onto the device drive labeled EdgeTX. Right now I'm just showing that you can download the SD card content for the TX15 and the EdgeTX build directly from the RadioMaster website. But if you want to download it directly from the EdgeTX web flasher, that also works. You'll then see a progress bar on the device, followed by a success message once the update is complete. After that, simply unplug the cable from the radio and hope for the best. Now the last part is to update the SD card content. All we have to do is plug in the device via USB-C, select USB storage on the device, and simply drag and drop the SD card contents that we downloaded before onto the device that was registered. Now if we want to back up our models, simply back them up before you transfer the SD card contents onto your device. And that's it. Hopefully that's helped. If not, reach out in the comments and I'll try to get to them when I can.